Hello, and welcome back to Project Filmography, where I'm going through my list of movies that I like from 1920 to 2020, one by one, in chronological order, in collage form. By the early 1930s, the silent era had ended, and sound cinema was still finding its rhythm. The Great Depression had changed everything. Audiences were turning to movies for escape, comfort, and sometimes confrontation. It was a decade of tension and reinvention. Studios were consolidating power, censorship was tightening, and filmmakers were pushing against the limits of what stories could be told. The 5 films in this episode, M, Freaks, Horse Feathers, Duck Soup, and King Kong, capture that fragile balance between chaos and creation. Each one shows how, even in times of crisis, cinema finds new ways to speak. Let's get into it. In 1931, Fritz Lang's M stunned audiences with its precision and restraint. It was one of the first major sound films from Germany, but Lang used sound sparingly. Whistles echo through the streets, footsteps vanish into silence. The result is unnerving. Sound becomes part of the tension itself. The story follows a child murderer hunted by both the police and the criminal underworld, turning the city into a maze of fear. Lang, who previously directed Metropolis from Episode 4, had witnessed Germany's descent into authoritarianism, and his film captures that anxiety, the sense that society itself is losing control. It's not just a crime story, it's a warning of what happens when fear becomes collective logic. Tod Browning's Freaks is one of the most misunderstood films ever made. It's shocking, yes, but what's truly unsettling isn't the so-called monsters, it's the cruelty of the so-called normal people. Browning, who had worked in circuses himself, filmed real sideshow performers not as curiosity, but as people. Watching it now, I kept thinking about who they were, the lives they lived in a world that often only saw them as spectacle. Browning gives them community, dignity, even tenderness. The film's famous "One of Us" chant isn't just horror, it's solidarity. Beneath its surface, Freaks is one of the most human films of its time. Horse Feathers is the Marx Brothers send-up of college life, made at a time when the image of campus life still carried this air of youthful optimism. Football games, fraternities, professors in tweed. But here, the brothers tear that image to shreds. Groucho becomes the most chaotic college president imaginable, and Harpo and Chico turn every tradition into nonsense. It feels like the 1920s ideal of higher education, that college could shape character and success, is being mocked from the inside out. Coming out of the Depression, it's less about learning and more about survival through laughter. The whole film feels like the moment when the American dream stopped making sense and absurdity took its place. Just a year later, Duck Soup pushed that chaos to its political extreme. The Marx Brothers transformed war and patriotism into slapstick. The film's imaginary nation, Fredonia, is run like a business deal gone wrong, and Groucho Marx leader Rufus T. Firefly embodies every egotistical ruler of the 20th century. The timing was uncanny. Europe was drifting towards fascism, and America was still recovering from crisis. Though it wasn't a hit at the time, Duck Soup later became one of the most important political comedies ever made, showing that laughter could dismantle power more effectively than speeches. And then came King Kong. Released in the same year, it was a technical revolution. Stop-motion animation by Willis O'Brien, composite photography, and synchronized sound effects turned fantasy into spectacle. Audiences had never seen anything like it. A creature the size of a skyscraper, moving with weight and emotion. But beneath the adventure story was a parable about obsession, exploitation, and the cost of wonder. King Kong mirrored a society desperate for escape, yet haunted by the consequences of ambition. It was both a marvel of modern technology and a myth about its dangers. When I think about these films, I think about people trying to make sense of a collapsing world. Through laughter, through monsters, through invention. They were searching for order inside chaos, beauty inside fear, meaning inside absurdity. Those searches still echo over a century later. Reminders that art doesn't just survive history, it records how we felt living through it. Thanks for watching this episode of Project Filmography, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!